nectar of devotion?
Yeah, but they don't have available, so we have to wait. But I ordered many Russians, 50 pieces. You want Russian? But English I couldn't find yet, but I'm still
Look.
looking.
Wir müssen die gleiche finden. Ne?
Gestern waren wir im letzten Paragraph, glaube ich, jetzt fangen wir einen neuen Abschnitt an, oder?
Genau. Ja. After remembrance.
Ja, after remembering.
Ja. So, we are reading from the Nectar of Devotion, which is a summary study by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, of the work of Srila Rupa Goswami, of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is a book that was drafted on the Science of Devotional Service by Srila Rupa Goswami. And for our understanding, Prabhupada summarized this in a more easy to handle book, so to speak. Argumentativeness. Madhumangala was an intimate friend of Krishna, coming from a Brahmana community. Krishna's friends were mostly cowherd boys belonging to the Vaishya community, but there were others who belonged to the Brahmana community. Actually, in Vrindavan, the Vaishnava community and the Brahmana community are considered prominent. This Madhumangala one day addressed Krishna in this fashion. My dear friend, I can see that you are not aware of the peacock feathers that are falling on the ground. And at the same time, you are unmindful of the flower garlands which are offered to you. I think I can guess the reason for your absent-mindedness. When I see your two eyes flying over to the eyes of Srimati Radharani, just like black drones flying to lotus flowers. This is an instance of argumentative suggestion in ecstatic love. Und dann jetzt noch ein paar Worte dazu sagen? Ja. If you're interested in Yadunga Maharaj, whom some of you might know, he has started a wonderful tradition during the COVID time, that he gives once or twice a week a lecture on these kind of topics, on the nectar of devotion. And so his listeners, and I'm among his listeners, as is my Guru Maharaj and many other people, have been educated a lot about Madhumangal, because Madhumangal is a very colorful character in the Krishna Lila. He's depicted on the one hand as a little short-witted, hot-bellied Brahmin boy. On the other hand, what people don't realize, Madhumangal has actually a very elevated position, because he is also a messenger of Krishna, and he's also sometimes being part of the intimate exchanges between Radha and Krishna, who facilitates Krishna's pastime. So he's not just a funny, pot-bellied Brahmin boy, but he's actually one of Krishna's very, very intimate friends, and thus worshipful for us. Yeah, he very often, and actually, when we worship, when we celebrate Govardhan Puja, we all think that it's Krishna who's holding up the Govardhan with his pinky, with his left pinky, sorry. But who's actually the hero of that lila?
Krishna.
No, Madhumangal. Because only by his Brahminical mantras did he suspend Govardhan hill. Krishna's a little boy, how could he ever, lifted the entire hill? It was Madhumangal, by his mantras, who actually suspended the Govardhan hill. That is what Krishna at least. So that is the kind, because as we all know, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they don't consider Krishna to be God. So how can it be that that little Krishna actually holds up the hill? It was only due to Madhu Mangal and his Brahmanic powers that this was possible. And here, Madhu Mangal, actually, we have a very, very nice proof how that he's so much more than just a pot-bellied Brahmin boy, because he can see what's going on with Krishna. He knows Krishna's mind. And then he noticed why Krishna is behaving the way he behaves. Because Krishna, well, when Krishna is absent-minded, that doesn't happen very often to him, but when Radharani is there and she enchants them, then because she's Madan Mohan Mohini, she's the only one that can enchant Madan Mohan. And he notices that. Okay. Nectar of devotion, ki jai.
Yeah. Can I add a sentence to this?
Yes, please, of course.
Because, like in the Bible, it says that we are made at the image of God. As Prabhupada explains, if we have a body, feeling, thinking, mind, all these things, how can we think that God is a light or an energy or is impersonal? Cannot be. Because in the Bible it says we are made at the image of God. So the reason why we become confused when we fall in love and so is because Krishna also, as we can see, when Radharani looks at him, then he's confused. Yes? So why are we? So it's not that material life is the reality and spiritual life is the imagination. No, it's the opposite. The reality is the spiritual world. This is reality. And material life is a material dream that we are dreaming. Alright?
Right.
There was more than a sentence.
And now we are reading a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, as it is, translated and commented, purported by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And we are reading from the first chapter, verse number 36. Papam eva shariyat asman hadvaithan atayina tasman narha vayam hantum datarashtran sabandhavan svajanam hi kadam hatva sukhinaha syama madhava. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune, and how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. According to Vedic injunctions, there are 6 kinds of aggressors. 1. The poison giver. 2. One who sets fire to the house. 3. One who attacks with deadly weapons. 4. One who plunders riches. 5. One who occupies another's land. And 6. One who kidnaps a wife. Such aggressors are at once to be killed, and no sin is occurred by killing such aggressors. Such killing of aggressors is quite befitting any ordinary man. But Arjuna was not an ordinary man. He was saintly by character, and therefore he wanted to deal with them in saintliness. This kind of saintliness, however, is not for Kshatriya. Although a responsible man in the administration of a state is required to be saintly, he should not be cowardly. For example, Lord Rama was so saintly that people even now are anxious to live in the kingdom of Lord Ram, Ram Rajya. But Lord Rama never showed any cowardice. Ravana was an aggressor against Rama because Ravana kidnapped Rama's wife Sita. But Lord Rama gave him sufficient lessons, unparalleled in the history of the world. In Arjuna's case, however, one should consider the special type of aggressors, namely his own grandfather, his own teacher, friends, sons, grandsons, etc. Because of them, Arjuna thought that he should not take the severe steps necessary against ordinary aggressors. Besides that, saintly persons are advised to forgive. Such injunctions for saintly persons are more important than any political emergency. Arjuna considered that rather than kill his own kinsmen for political reasons, it would be better to forgive them on the grounds of religion and saintly behavior. He did not, therefore, consider such killing profitable simply for the matter of temporary bodily happiness. After all, kingdoms and pleasures derived therefrom are not permanent. So why should he risk his life and eternal salvation by killing his own kinsmen? Arjuna's addressing Krishna as Madhava, or the husband of the goddess of fortune, is also significant in this connection. He wanted to point out to Krishna that, as husband of the goddess of fortune, he should not induce Arjuna to take up a matter which would ultimately bring misfortune. Krishna, however, never brings misfortune to anyone, to say nothing of his devotees. And again, the verse. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune, and how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Again, a few words? Or?
That was something.
Yeah, Arjuna really is in a situation that nobody really wants to be in. Oh, Arjuna really is in a situation that nobody wants to be in. Nobody would like to kill, well,
To have to kill.
to have to kill. No normal person would like to have to kill their grandfathers and advisors. And there was grandfather Bhishma, there was Dronacharya, his guru. He was up against his guru. I mean, only his, I don't know whether, was Dronacharya more than just a weapon guru? I mean, Dronacharya taught the Pandavas, as you probably all know, the art of fighting, the art of behaving on the battlefield, the art of military strategy, and the art of how to shoot a bow, right? We all know the story how Dronacharya actually had all the 5 Pandavas and what was the name of the first Pandava?
Yudhishthira.
No, the one before him.
Karna.
Karna, yes, Karna. He was teaching all of them. And there's this famous example that he asked them, well, you know, he put a target up in the tree and he told everybody, you know, you aim at the target and you shoot it. And then he asked everybody to take aim. And then when they took aim, he asked them, so, what do you see? And they were all like, well, I see this, and then the trees, the bird, oh, there's a birdie. And, but then Dronacharya said, okay, don't shoot, forget it. And then Arjuna came. And he asked Arjuna, what do you see? And Arjuna said, I see the target. And then, boom, shoot. And he shot the target, of course, because Arjuna was maybe one of the best archers and bowmen in the history of this universe. I don't know. Well, that could be a nerd discussion, whether Lord Ram or Arjuna are better bowmen. I mean, Lord Ram is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna is just well, he's a quarter god. Well, he's a quarter god. That he is, because he was the son of a demigod, so he's a quarter god. No, there's no such thing as a quarter god. He had divine blood, of course, and he was an empowered archer, an empowered devotee of the Lord. And we know actually sometimes we don't really have that much of an idea how powerful the devotees of the Lord are. I was so amazed to hear Sanatana Goswami's discussion in the Srimad Bhagavatamritam, how powerful the devotees of Lord actually are. And they have a lot of opulences, according to Sanatana Goswami, that Krishna himself has. I mean, Arjuna is present in the spiritual world as well as in this world at the same time. The Krishna's Leelas are eternally going on in this universe, in all other universes. But at the same time, Arjuna is there with Krishna in Dwaraka. He's there performing a part of the eternal Leela of Krishna. And Sanatana Goswami made sure that this is possible for personalities like Arjuna. So, and Prabhupada made this in his purport in the Bhagavad Gita at multiple times sure that we understand that actually Arjuna showing what he shows here, that is part of the Leela for us to learn from him. No? Because better we learn from personalities like Arjuna than from, I don't know, some fool on Instagram or so. And Arjuna actually shows us by his example how important that process of deliberation is. He wasn't jumping to a conclusion, he was deliberating, he was weighing pro and con, and he came to a conclusion, but the conclusion he came to was not a definite conclusion. He presented that conclusion to Krishna, who at that moment, he presented as his spiritual master. He approached Krishna, Shishaskeham Sharimam Papapanam. I'm your disciple now, Shishastiham. Please, I need your instructions. Please instruct me. Give me your insight. So, he did some work before. It was not like that he was approaching his spiritual master like, I do everything for me. I stop thinking now, and you do all the thinking for me, and you regulate my life. And by the way, if something goes wrong in my life, it's your fault. No, he didn't do that. He was a very trained person, because you have to understand Kshatriyas at that time. They have undergone a very rigid training. The kings of the olden times, they were actually well versed in all the shastras. They were well versed in the Artha shastras. They knew how to act strategically. That was all part of what they had learned. Besides them being insanely strong, that we also have to understand, and not just the Pandavas. This is a little side story, I don't know if you have to talk about it, but they had found a first Wedekind that was a German warrior king. They found his remains. He lived around 1500 years ago, and he was one of the first Christian kings. And he lived. The Wedekind related to half of the people in this area here as well. So they found his remains. And they, from his bone structure and from the way his sinews connected to his bones, they could see that was an extremely strong man. I mean, his legs were shaped like an O, because he spent most of his life in a saddle as a horseman. But he could wield a long sword, and he had huge muscles like a strong man. You know, these strong men, not just the bodybuilders who are pumped up, the strong men, those who can lift insane weights. And he was like that. And he was not a quarter god. He was just an ordinary German king, and we can just imagine how powerful the Pandavas must have been, because they had divine blood in them, and they had this training from childhood, wielding weapons and doing this and that. The princesses also. I mean, we have learned that Rukmini also knew how to fight, so they were also trained to take up weapons to defend themselves if it comes to that. And of course, he was also trained in the art of deliberation, in the art of in ethical considerations. And that made it all the more convincing that he is in such a situation now, that in such a dilemma, and he's doing the only thing that a devotee does when a devotee is faced with such a dilemma. He turns to Krishna, who happens to be his best friend, and who happens to be the personality of Godhead, which in that case, for Arjuna, that is another discussion. Arjuna was not aware of Krishna's, supremacy. For Krishna, he was part of the Leela, and he chose to see Krishna as his friend, as his dear, dear, dear friend. And only in the 11th chapter, Krishna reveals his divinity to Arjuna. And then Arjuna said, "Oh, this is very nice, but I want to see your Soumya Rupa again." So he retracts that. But all the while, he respected Krishna as delivering divine knowledge to him, that he did. And I think, personally, many of us we might not have to kill people, but we are very often faced with very difficult decisions. And from Arjuna's example, we can learn how to deal with these difficult decisions. Turning to God, praying, turning to the spiritual master, seeking advice from more experienced devotees. And by doing so, we will find a way to get out of that difficult situation, as did Arjuna. And we all know how it ended. He killed everybody, but he remained in the transcendental position because he executed Krishna's will. So there was no loss of discrimination for him. He found the best way out of this really, really terrible situation by the help of Krishna. And I'm very grateful for having been handed the Bhagavad Gita many, many years ago, because it has always been my book of solace. And I maybe it's for you too. I don't know.
Well, we read the Bhagavad Gita for Gita Jayanti completely once a year.
Oh.
The whole thing once a year, so that keeps us always in touch with all the facets of
the verses
being
or
present. The verses, yeah.
Yeah.
Takes 3 hours.
Yeah. That is a wonderful tradition.
But this is always in December.
Yeah.
There's the Gita Jayanti. I don't know exactly this year what the date is. Can you check? We made a year's calendar for the whole year. You are in our guest information.
Yes.
Sanuj?
Yes, I'm there.
You're there. Him? Sanuj? The QR code is on the table outside.
Okay.
Take the code, and then you will receive. We're going to send a year's calendar again. Then you can see when is Gita Jayanti. You can know now when is Gita Jayanti in December. Okay, and you should come if you can, because it's an opportunity to read the whole, to have an overview, And then when you read, keep reading it, and you keep remembering, this and this and this and those. It really goes inside, and it keeps in your mind forever. Okay, Giri Rajan, yeah?
Ranjan.
Giri Ranjan. Giri Ranjan.
Dipti Ranjan.
Dipti. I don't know why Giri. Dipti Ranjan.
Yeah.
Okay, Hare Krishna, sorry.
No, that's okay.
So many new names. So you are in the conference, yes? In the guest conference? In our guest conference? I think so, because you comment sometimes.
Yes, I was there last time.
Okay.
Last time I was there.
So we're going to send the calendar these days again.
Yes.
After Gopurnima probably, because we don't want to send too many informations before Gopurnima. People become confused.
Yeah.
What is it? Oh, you need Monday, the 1st of December, Gita Jayanti.
Oh, this year.
It's Monday, huh?
This year.
This year, yes. It's Monday, but we will do it on a Monday. It's a Kadasi day, we follow, and we have a fire sacrifice, and everybody can buy Bhagavad Gitas to distribute, to give as their Christmas present for friends, family, for wherever, or sponsor them. You can sponsor them and we will distribute them for you.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, nice.
Any comments? No.
Arjuna, he is just, I mean, Krishna has a big oversight and he knew that in Kali Yuga, this day and age, we are all pretty stupid. And we don't have much intelligence and especially not much time to study all these Vedic scriptures and all this. And for that, he spoke Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years ago, so we can hear it today. So this conversation that's going on is our daily teaching, as he says. It's our daily teaching. And of course, Arjuna is a special person. We are not so special. But if we take him as an example, how he dealt with problems, how he thinks and feels and all these things, and what Krishna is telling him about it, that's applying to us. You know, so that's a great guidance on how for us to guide, to have our life, live our life, and what's right to do and all these things. So it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And almost for everything, every day, you can have example. Okay?
Adora Srimad Bhagavad Gita.
Ja. Thank you very much. So now, breakfast. Sanush Prabhu, you will